Hello, Pisces, and welcome to your reading. This is Bright Soul Collective Tarot, and these will be your intuitive insights and advice for the month of February 2022. This reading will be for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and as always, the reading will be general in nature, so not all of the messages that come through will necessarily apply to your specific situation, so I do highly recommend that you take anything and everything that resonates for you, and keep an open mind to the other information coming through, being willing to take that with you into the month of February, anything you think might be helpful, and you can simply leave the rest. So Pisces, you are my last reading, and I was thinking, like, with being the last sign, um, there are advantages and disadvantages. I ended up actually refining the process as I was recording. So I think in spite of you being the last reading, I think you're going to benefit from it because the readings have been really becoming more detailed as I go. So this may be long, and you don't have to watch the video the entire time. You can feel free to even just listen. They're very listenable in nature, but yeah, just a warning, it might be a little on the long side. So as you can see, I've got your 3 oracle cards here ready to go. And yeah, I hope you're all doing well. I hope the year is off to a great start. And we are in the month of February, which means we're going to be coming into your season and you're going to be in all of your glory. So happy early birthday from me. And yeah, it's my intention that we can connect you with some empowering messages to help you connect more deeply with yourself and the world around you, and to have you feeling ready to make the most of the energy that February has to offer. So yeah, I've got your 3 oracle cards here. I shuffled them off camera, and these are the ones that came out. So I'm going to start your reading with some channeled messages that I actually just sat down to kind of quietly let them come through. Then I will give you a read of your oracle cards. We'll pull some tarot and some clarifiers, and then we'll get you some affirmations to tie everything together. And I'm really looking forward to it. The other readings have been great, so I'm really hoping that we can connect you with something really positive for you. So as I said, I will start with channeled messages. This is something fun that I'm just doing for myself, just to kind of practice and to see if maybe any of these details resonate with anyone. So keep in mind, they might be very specific in nature. They might also be a little bit obscure, and they may only apply to like 1 or 2 of you. So if they don't resonate for you at all or make any sense, that's totally fine. If they do, I would be very curious to know. Maybe you can leave me a comment or send me a message or something. So I'll get into that first, and then we'll move into the actual card reading. So the first thing, Pisces, that came through for you was organic. So like organic fruits and vegetables. So I don't know if that's something of significance to you lately. Maybe you're on a health kick. Maybe you're very diet conscious. Maybe you're trying to incorporate more fruits and vegetables into your diet. Perhaps like vegetarianism or veganism is something that's important to you. Or organic vegetables, fruits, and products in general might be something that you're really kind of focusing on consuming. Might be important, however that resonates. The next thing that came through was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which is so bizarre. I don't think I've even watched whatever movie it is that's associated with. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't really, I should have Googled it, honestly, but perhaps that has some kind of meaning for you, some kind of connection. I'm going to leave that one to you. The next thing that came through was frequencies. So you may be feeling particularly sensitive to the energy, the emotions from others. It may not be something that is quite obvious or tangible or easy to identify. It might be on a more subtle level, like you might have a deeper sense of what people are feeling or thinking. And it might just be like an internal experience, maybe more intuitively. You could be sensitive to energies in general. And with frequencies, it's not just the energy and attitude of other people, it's also yourself as well. So that might be something that you're kind of tuning into or more aware of. And it could even just be in like terms of trying to find people who are on the same frequency, on the same wavelength, right? Who are living a similar lifestyle, who have similar goals. Maybe that is something that you're really focusing on right now. The next thing that came to mind was, I don't give a shit. So I thought that was really funny because even if it's in the most apathetic way, whether it's that or whether it's humorous or wherever that's coming from, if that does apply to you, if that is kind of a vibe or a mood for you right now, yeah, I don't know, maybe you're kind of realizing the things, like the thoughts, the feelings, the things that you've been tied up in or that have been having like a large place in your life that like you don't really truly care about or that aren't really important to you. So maybe you're getting clear on priorities or what works for you, or maybe there are things that you're realizing don't have a place in your life anymore and you're ready to just give up. And maybe it could just be kind of like getting back into your own energy and taking your power back and not worrying so much about what other people are saying or doing, or maybe what they're expecting of you. So this could be in a really empowering way, but it could also be in a really like negative way. So just keep in mind that if it is coming from a damaged place or like a place that's like rooted in hurt or a wound, that might be something that you want to turn your attention to and get a little bit more clarity. What exactly is going on under the surface that's motivating that kind of energy? Because there might be some healing, either your own healing or healing in a relationship or something that could be really worthwhile kind of investigating and undertaking this month. So if that resonates for you, that's something just to keep in mind. The next thing that came to mind was heavenly hash. So that could be like the ice cream. So maybe that is like a favorite flavor. Maybe there's something to do with ice cream. And then like hash, also the drug. I'm not trying to promote drugs or anything like that, but you might have some kind of connection to like hash. You might use it. You might have like, I don't know. I'm not going to go too far into that just on the drug front, but that might have some kind of significance to you. That's up to you. The next thing that came to me was wandering in the desert. And so I don't know if that's probably not a literal thing. I don't imagine you're in the desert, but I don't know if maybe like in terms of symbolism that resonates for you. I got the sense that it could have been a dream. So I don't know if maybe you have had a dream or maybe you will have a dream that has something to do with the desert, being wandering in the desert, being lost. It could be feeling kind of displaced, right? Like maybe you're in a place where you're lacking abundance and you're feeling kind of lost and cut off from the things that you're trying to create. I don't know. The next thing that came to me was Cuba, or like Cuba Libre. So Cuba might be a significant place for you, somewhere that you have gone or are thinking about going. And you know, Cuba Libre, that's usually like a rum and coke. So maybe like rum and coke has some kind of significance to you. The next thing that came to me was forcing it and faking it. So those were kind of like hand in hand together. And so this kind of gave me the impression that maybe there are parts of your life, it could be a relationship, it could be career, it could be your own like personal development. However that applies for you, it's going to look different for each and every one of you. But there could be a sense that you're really trying to like force things along, to push things along a certain path, and maybe to try and like exercise a bit more control over either like how things are going or what the outcome is going to be, or like maybe how you're perceived or how other people are perceived, instead of just kind of flowing with it. And maybe that's causing you to adopt certain behaviors or attitudes, or make certain decisions that aren't necessarily totally authentic and like maybe don't really align with who you are. So you might be kind of like projecting like a false self, or perhaps like trying to kind of like mask your intentions in the sake of like pushing something forward. So that could be something that you're experiencing or maybe you're struggling with. The next thing that came to me was egress, like the word egress, like exit, like to exit or to leave. And I thought that was a really funny word because I don't ever use that. Like that doesn't really have a lot of context for me. It's just like a fancy way of saying like exit. It could mean escape. Like maybe you were feeling like you need to get out of a situation. Maybe you're in an escapist mood. Maybe you're looking to like get away from thoughts, feelings, anxieties, people. But the other thing is, because it's not really like something that I deal with often, I did Google it. And it was related to an astronomy term, which was kind of funny. So it was like another way of saying like immersion. And I guess that's like, so that's the process of coming out of the water or being like removed from water. And so that kind of gave me the feeling of like maybe you're feeling like a fish out of water. Maybe, yeah, you're feeling out of your element, maybe disconnected with yourself. In spirituality and in tarot, water represents like our emotions, our subconscious, our intuition, all the kind of stuff that's under the surface that we have access to when we are navigating life. So maybe you are feeling disconnected from that, or maybe you've been like really sitting in your emotions and your feelings and now you're just kind of coming out of it. And it's also associated to, you know, when something it reemerges after like a celestial body, like the sun or something reemerges after an eclipse. So it's like there's been darkness, and you know, the sun is obscured by shadow and then it comes back out into view fully. So that is also associated with this word egress. So it could also be, you know, feeling dark, like, or you're in the dark, or there's a lack of clarity and things coming to light. And that could be a current energy, something you're coming into, or something that lays ahead in February. I'm not sure, but I thought that was kind of neat. The next thing that came to me was revolving door. So I don't know how that might apply to you. I didn't get the sense that it was a literal revolving door, because I don't know how much meaning that's necessarily going to have, unless it's just simply like some kind of landmark is associated with the revolving door for you that means something. But it could mean like there's a lot of movement, or like a lot of things that are just coming and going really quickly, and they don't necessarily have much of an impact or have much meaning in your life. So maybe that could be intentional, that you're trying to like avoid things impacting you on that level, or it could just be just the nature of things right now. It also could pertain to work. Maybe you're dealing with a situation at work where you've got a position that you're trying to fill that's like a revolving door. Maybe you found yourself in one of those positions and you're realizing like why that so many people have been coming into and leaving that position quickly. So there might be some work to be done around that. And then finally, I got the phrase, I can't handle this. So yeah, you could be feeling tired or worn down, perhaps like you've kind of reached the end of your rope with a specific thing. This could be a relationship. This could be a job. This could be with school. This could be any kind of like family dynamic. It might be your own habits. Like maybe you're just kind of like sick of your own crap and you just feel like you can't handle it. So you might be in need of a change, or, you know, just kind of a new approach. I don't know. However that applies to you, be very curious. But those are your channeled messages. So we'll get into your oracle cards. So your first card is yes. And it says, just say yes. Your second is spessartine garnet. And finally, we have Legacy of Light. Oh my gosh, I just got the like heart palpitations. I'm not sure. Maybe that might be something for you if you guys like have like an irregular heartbeat, like an arrhythmia, or if you get heart palpitations from time to time, or maybe you experience a little bit of anxiety. That's unusual for me. So that I'm just putting that out there in case that has some significance to you. Okay, so let's get started on these cards. I love that your card here, your first one out, like right out of the gate is yes. Just say yes, because really I will elaborate because obviously that's what I do, but there isn't a whole lot of elaboration that's needed. It's more just to kind of clarify what that might entail for you. But you couldn't ask for a better card to come out to kind of validate whatever it is that's going on within you. There might be like an inkling that you know that something's off, or you know that there's something specific that you should be doing or you want to connect with. You might be struggling to. You might be questioning yourself. You might have some fears around really truly accepting or integrating that into your reality. And this is saying that like whatever that thing is for you, it will look different for every single person, but it's like whatever it is that you're feeling drawn to, whether you can rectify it logically or not, it is important. It's something that needs your attention. It's something that you should do, or you should at least allow yourself to explore, because it seems as though there's an opportunity for either learning or development, a positive outcome, maybe like connection. So you might not even know what kind of positive, circumstances or experiences can arise as a result of leaning into this energy, but you really are just being encouraged to start saying yes to yourself. And this is about like not overthinking. So for example, in the guidebook, because each oracle deck comes with a guidebook and explanations of the cards, this one, it's literally 2 pages in caps of yes. So yes, 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 yes. And then the recommended action at the bottom of the card or at the bottom of the page says, basically, don't overthink it, just say yes. And so the sense that I'm getting this month is not only are you encouraged to say yes, right? To start putting a little bit more stock in whatever it is that you're feeling drawn to, whatever might excite you, whatever feels like it could be something meaningful to you, whether it's something that is out of the norm or not, whether it's something that you are already connected to or not, like even if it requires like a totally new energy or maybe a leap of faith, it's like overthinking, getting into your mind and trying to overanalyze it, trying to structure it, trying to plan it, trying to assess too heavily the likelihood of success versus failure, that's not going to serve you in this situation. And that really tells me that it's something that is coming from the heart, because quite often when there are things that are meaningful to us and they're a part of our path and our learning and our growth, we're kind of like destined to experience these certain things, and that's why we're feeling even maybe a subconscious pull toward it. And the thing that interferes with what is meant for us and what we are meant to experience the most tends to be our thoughts, because we put a lot of stock in them even though they're not real, right? Like they are just conclusions that we're trying to come to as a result of all of the data that's available, in the physical world, or pulling from past experiences and projecting ourselves into the future. And it's not real, it's not accurate. We have a lot of bias and we're impacted. Our thoughts are impacted by a lot of things that we're not necessarily aware of. So there is a time and place to be analytical and logical and, do a lot of research and all that. But when it comes to matters of the heart and the things that are meant to connect to you on an emotional level, or not even emotional, maybe spiritual, but like a deeper level, like something that's really going to be enjoyable for you or like productive, or whatever it is that you're looking to get out of this, your thoughts are only going to complicate things. They're only going to instill maybe like fear or doubt. They might keep you from taking action, so they're not going to serve you. And you're being kind of guided to realize that this is not meant to be something that you approach logically. It's not meant to be something that you overthink or overanalyze. It's kind of encouraging you to just maybe take that little leap of faith, maybe step into some new energy, be willing to connect with something that you can't rectify logically. This is a big theme this month in general. Like a lot of people are being encouraged to just like let go of this attachment to like practicality and logic and like the world of the scene, and really like start stepping into themselves and their own light and experiencing the things that they came here to experience. So, but this is the most clear and most positive message that's come through in any of the readings. So I have to say, and I don't want to oversimplify the process of this in trying to get my point across. And I'm definitely not encouraging you to do anything like super drastic or something that might be, not in your best interest. This is like being able to assess and trust your gut feeling and your calling, and what's best for you. This isn't going to be something that's going to be openly harmful to yourself or others. It's really only going to be something that's positive, something that's guided by like love and, your heart, and not something that has the opportunity to be, maybe damaging or hurtful or like manipulative. It's not that kind of energy. It is a very pure energy. And that's why it's associated with yes, because it's going to help you. It's going to facilitate some kind of growth. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It's neat that it came up with this spessartine garnet. So we're in Aquarius season right now, and obviously we're going to be transitioning into Pisces season, but a garnet is actually the birthstone for Aquarius. And so it kind of has like, because we're in Aquarius season, the energies and traits associated with Aquarius are amplified in all of us, and we're able to make better use of that energy. And like, so that's the same for this kind of stone. And what this stone represents, whether you believe in crystals or not, is just even connecting with the concepts that it represents. So it tells me that like this is a good time, especially, you know, the month of February, obviously, but especially like while Aquarius season lasts. I think it's ending around like 21st, 22nd usually is when we switch from one sign to another. But yeah, so this first couple of weeks of the month, this energy might be extra amplified in supporting you and in doing whatever this is, right? Because this tells me there's probably something that's been on your mind, something that's been nagging at you, maybe something that you've been putting off, that you've been interested in, or something that you know you should be doing. And spessartine garnet, this is really all about authenticity, right? It's authenticity. It's being your truest self, being your best self, not putting up a guard, not wearing a mask, not feeling as though you need to be a certain way or act a certain way or speak a certain way in order for people to love you and accept you, or in order for you to be able to like influence your reality or the people around you or to make a difference. This is saying like you have the ability to, you have like a charming personality. You have a magnetic personality. I think people are already drawn to you. They're drawn to your energy. You know, they want to be in your space. They want to hear what you have to say. So yeah, I feel like you're already magnetic to begin with. And you kind of emanate this light or this energy that makes people want to come to you and makes people want to work with you. So that could be, yeah, that could be at work. It could be at school. It could be just in social situations, in your friend group. It could be romantically, either like, you know, your partner or like attracting a partner. Maybe you have a lot of people who are just kind of coming into your life. But this is basically saying that like, it goes hand in hand. Whatever it is that you feel drawn to, whatever it is that you enjoy and that you want to create, whether or not you have been embracing that fully and allowing yourself to connect with it, this is saying like the key to your success is just being yourself. Right? So you don't need to worry. And that's another thing. So you don't need to overthink and worry about strategy and planning and how you're going to make it happen and what you're going to say to people. You just need to be you. You need to connect with yourself. And so obviously this really does start with self-acceptance, like knowing yourself, accepting yourself, being willing to acknowledge all of the good aspects of yourself, all of your strengths, all of the beautiful things about you. All of the things that make you attractive, and attractive not just physically and not just in a romantic sense, but attractive to the people around you, right? So it might be your knowledge. Maybe you've got a really great wealth of knowledge, you know, and people look to you for advice or to be educated on certain topics. Or maybe you've got a really good attitude in general, like maybe you're just very positive and you inspire people to take action. Maybe you've got a healing energy and you help people, you know, see their own strengths and work through their problems. Whatever it is, you have a lot to offer, and there are things that people look to you for. There are reasons why people are drawn to you, and those reasons are just naturally and innately a part of you. They're your natural gifts. It's like this light that's within you, and it's just about you recognizing that that's there, that those qualities are there, and letting that shine. Not being afraid to acknowledge it yourself, not being afraid to appreciate it yourself, and not being afraid to just step into that light and to shine it and to accept, you know, that people will be drawn to you, and that is part of your, it seems like that's part of your path, or at least for this month. So you may be noticing that kind of energy is more on your radar this month. But yeah, and so I think it's really, really important also to recognize that this is not, it's not coming from a place of ego. So either maybe you have a habit, it could go either way. Like maybe you have a habit of getting into your ego, and like really building yourself up and feeling like you kind of have to like toot your own horn a lot in order to get attention, or in order to, you know, have influence or see things unfold the way that you want. And if you are in that kind of space, or maybe you are prone to that, the trouble is that ego doesn't really have to do with our truest, best self, right? And it doesn't always have our interests at heart. And so sometimes we can become so focused on what we're trying to achieve, or what we're trying to project, or how we're trying to influence people, that we're not doing it in a really like authentic, loving, heart-centered way. Sometimes we can step into energies that are damaging, not only for ourselves because they deny us our positive qualities, but they also kind of influence people in a way that is not in their best interest either. And it's basically saying like, whatever you want to achieve, whatever's important to you, whatever you want to create, however you're looking to interact with people, you can absolutely do that, but you can do that from a really positive, confident, not cocky place. And if you're not someone that gets wrapped up in ego, you might be on the other end of the spectrum, where it's just like, maybe you're really quiet, maybe you're really humble, maybe confidence is something that's difficult for you. You have a hard time accepting compliments. You have a hard time receiving recognition and attention. Maybe you don't necessarily see or recognize or value your strengths and the beautiful things about you, and like the attractive qualities that you have, the reason that people want you in their space. And so it's really like, yeah, like I said, being able to connect with that, recognize it for yourself, feel it for yourself, you know, like self-love is a big thing. And it really, you know, if we don't take that time to connect with ourselves and enrich that relationship with ourselves, it's going to be really hard to have those kinds of experiences or relationships, or receive love from other people and to give it to. And this is also so about like unconditional love too. So you don't have to focus solely on your flaws. It's okay to focus on the things that are great about you and your strengths. And, you know, you don't have to be humble or downplay the things that you are doing. Especially if you're afraid of being considered like egotistical or self-centered. That's not going to happen if you really are truly connected to your heart and expressing yourself in a way that is driven by that kind of energy. You know, and chances are, if you're worried about coming across as like not humble and egotistical, you're not that type of person anyways. And so you really just need to start trusting yourself. That's what it comes down to, trusting yourself and being able to share and appreciate your good qualities. Because people don't want a show. They don't want a fake version of you. They don't want a version of you that's tailored to suit their specific personality or their specific needs. You know, people don't want to be misled. They don't want to be manipulated and they don't need to be, because it seems like you're surrounded by people that really genuinely want to connect with you in a real way. And if you have that facade up, then you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to connect with those people and to receive support. So you can achieve a whole lot with the support that's available to you, and you don't need to be worried about convincing people to like you, or convincing people to accept you, or convincing people to believe in what you want to believe. You just have to be you. You have to be you and put it out there, because that's what those people want. So it's like whatever you're putting out is influencing the people around you. And so if you're hesitant to really step into your own energy and be totally authentic, even if it feels vulnerable, the people around you are going to sense that. And that's going to impact what's available to you. And it may actually be reinforcing this idea that you do have to work, and that you do have to put out a certain image, and you do have to like make people want to listen to you. And that's not the case, right? So it's like getting out of that cycle might be a thing for you this month as well. But yeah, like people want to see you for who you really are, and whatever it is that you're trying to create, or whatever it is that's important to you. Yeah, that can and will be successful, but the level of success and the level of support that you're going to be open to really, really depends on you. Yeah, just being authentic, being your best self, and not being afraid to shine, and acknowledge that like you've got something valuable to share. You don't have to be humble about it, and you don't have to be cocky about it, right? Like you can find this really authentic, genuine middle path. And that's what people will really appreciate about you, especially if it's like some kind of project or something collaborative in nature, or just like a favor or support that you need. Like, people can feel when you're being authentic and when you're not. And you might end up putting people off that really do want to genuinely support you for the right reasons, because you're producing, or you're emitting kind of like an energy that says like, hey, maybe you're not being transparent, or maybe you're not really truly being genuine, and it could kind of put them off. And with legacy of light here, this is important too, because it's kind of like whatever it is that's important to you, whatever you're trying to connect with, whatever's on your mind, maybe it could even be subconscious. Maybe you're not even aware of it. And maybe that's something that you're going to take time to kind of like connect with this month, is start feeling like, what are you really drawn to? What do you want to do? But it's basically saying like, it has a bigger connection to you and like your path and your purpose in this life. And it might even be connected to your history, right? There might be something that you're drawn to that's representative of like, it might be tied to your ancestors or your past, your past on loved ones or something. Like, there might be something connected to that. It might be influenced by that. It doesn't have to be. But it's basically saying like, this is really supportive of any kind of like creative endeavor, and, calling on unconditional love, and the unconditional love that's available to you and surrounds you to help you bring your dreams into reality and to help you create whatever it is. And this is also being, in terms of spirituality, this can also be like, if you believe in spirit guides and ancestors and angels and things like that, it's acknowledging that like, they are always around you. They are always watching you. They're always there to help. And it might just be a matter of, taking the time to connect with them. Ask them. You can't receive what you don't ask for. So, it's trusting that if it's something you really feel drawn to, then there's a purpose for that. There's a reason that it's in your life and it's coming into your awareness, and that you're going to be supported in doing it. And so if you do feel like you need help or support, it's important to ask for that. And that doesn't just have to be on a spiritual level. It can also be like in the real world. Like, don't be afraid to lean on the people that love you and that are willing to provide you with that support from an unconditional place. Like, they're not expecting anything back. Because it seems like it's there. It's just maybe you're not aware that it's there, but also maybe you're feeling a little bit hesitant to ask. Like, maybe you've kind of got this idea that you have to do it on your own. And this is saying like, this is kind of like part of your legacy. And like, in terms of ancestral patterns, like this is to do with your part, the part that you play in your lineage. And so that could be healing. It could be healing generational trauma. It could be recognizing and interrupting patterns that have been passed down through generations that haven't been helpful. And maybe you're the one that's meant to break the mold, right? And pass something different down to future generations. Whether you want to have a family or not, whether that's something that you're interested in, it's basically recognizing that the things you do here and now, the work you do on yourself, will have impact on the people who are around you. It doesn't have to be your own like bloodline, but also this tells me like, maybe family is important to you. Maybe you're thinking about children. Maybe you are thinking about starting a family. Maybe that's something that's been on the back of your mind. Maybe you are currently trying to conceive, or you're going to make the decision that you want to start a family this month. Maybe you already are pregnant, or you maybe just had a child. It could be that as well. And if it's not like you specifically, it might just be a matter of your connection to the children in your life, whether it's like children in your family, through friends, like however that might apply. It's recognizing the role that you're going to play, and you kind of stepping into your authenticity, saying yes to yourself, expressing whatever creative thing this is. It's going to have an opportunity to positively, the work that you're doing will positively impact generations to come, potentially, right? You might be setting the example or acting as like a teacher or guide for them. And so this card also, like, it really does make me think of generational trauma. And not in a bad way, right? That sounds really scary, but it's kind of like whether we decide we're going to have children or not, whether we're in the place where we're even thinking about that or not. It's important to be aware of what's passed down to us through our ancestors, like even through our parents, through the spiritual beliefs. Like if you were raised in a religious environment, if you were raised to adhere to a specific belief system, and that can manifest in any kind of way. It doesn't have to be just religious. It could just be like a general, it could be political. It could be just like a general mindset, or things that kind of box you into a specific path or following a specific path. And they kind of like impact what you believe you're able to do or how you are able to show up in the world. Maybe you haven't been taught that being an honest, genuine person who is just like authentic and real, maybe you've been taught that that's like a vulnerable thing and that it's going to get you hurt. And so you feel like you have to be protective and you have to be projecting something that's not quite you in order for people to value you. So maybe that's something that you have had ingrained in you, and that's not true, right? And so it's recognizing the impact that, you know, the beliefs of those before us have had on the way that we've been raised and the things that we've been taught to value, and recognizing that those things are not always necessarily positive. And even if they are positive in nature, like even if you're, for example, if you were raised in a certain religion and that religion is not negative, it could be that like you might have absorbed fear or resistance or like something from your parents and their experience or their connection to that religion specifically. So the things that have influenced you might not be yours. And that's important to kind of like bring into your awareness, like what was handed down to you, what influenced you from the outside that isn't necessarily you or isn't necessarily serving you. Because if you can bring that into your awareness and really be willing to step into yourself and what does matter to you and embody that truthfully, without fear, and know that you're still going to be loved and accepted and supported, and you are still going to achieve the things that you want to achieve and create whatever is most important to you. That's like you have that power. That's a really important thing to be mindful of, because the things that you're not aware of that might be limiting or might be damaging or might have been handed down to you, if you remain unaware of them, they're going to continue to impact you, but they're also going to impact anyone who comes after you. And like I said, even if you're not having your own kids, it could be somebody else's children, someone else in your family. You know, you might be that uncle that like reinforces the same kind of teachings that your parents enforced on you. And that might have a challenging impact on children in your family, you know, or it could just be that you're making decisions that aren't without thinking about the impact that it's going to have on generations to come. And you really have the opportunity to use your light to build or create something that's going to make things easier or better for future generations, right? And that's like, yeah, I think that's really wonderful. So I'm going to pull you some tarot cards just to get some more information for this month. So your first card is the Six of Wands. Your second card is the Lovers. Oh, we've got 2 6s there already. That's interesting. Okay, let's get another. Oh, you've got a lot of wands. Okay, your next, so you got 2 for this. 9 of Wands and Page of Wands. And let's get to one more. Great, one more card for Pisces. Oh, yay, that's exciting. You guys got the 10 of Cups as your last card. Cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the Empress is at the bottom of the deck. So this is actually, it kind of goes in keeping with what I was talking about. I don't want to scare you guys about the whole like parenthood or like children theme, but that is a very strong theme for your reading. So if that resonates for you, great. If it doesn't, and you're not thinking about kids, or that's not something that's on your mind, or it doesn't apply to you, don't worry. There's other ways that this is interpreted. I'm just saying that's a very strong underlying energy. So a lot of you might be like connecting with this right now or going through this. Because with the Empress here, like obviously you can see she's pregnant, right? There's a card of fertility, a creation, birthing. It could be a human, it could be a project. And the 10 of Cups here is like the happily ever after, you know, the wish fulfillment card. It's the happy family, it's the happy home. There's like emotional abundance, there's like depth of connections and harmony and relationships, and it's kind of like everything's just peach. And you can see there are 2 children here, so children are showing up there as well. And the Empress is like Mother Earth, the Earth Mother. It's a very nurturing, maternal kind of energy. So obviously touching on that, you might be pregnant. You might be getting pregnant. You might be thinking about getting pregnant. You might be focused on family or wanting to create a family, or, you know, it could be adoption. It could be, yeah, spending more time with children, even if you don't want to have them for yourself. There's like a heavy theme of that. So I just want to say that might be something that's really big for you this month. You might be really heavily focused on that. And this, if so, that this is just confirmation or validation that like, hey, yeah, that's what it is. That's the decision you're making, or that's the decision you should make. I can't say that for you. Only you will know for yourself. And I just want to say, if it is not about actual children or becoming a parent or conceiving or giving birth or anything like that, this has a lot to do with creative energy. So it's something that you're creating. It's so you might be incubating a thought or an idea for a creative project or venture, or, you know, something that you want to bring into the world, and like take it from being an idea and bring it into reality in the physical world. So manifest it into something tangible. And that could be anything that you want to create, any idea that you have. And this is basically like, it's basically saying that whatever it is that you're incubating, whatever stage you are in, like bringing that into your reality, that, you know, it seems to be aligned. It seems to be heavily supported. It seems to be like kind of like meaningful and like part of your path right now, but it's also highly supported as being something that will come to completion, that will be successful, because your first card here for like the current energy, or the energy you're going to kind of face at the beginning of the month anyways, is success. So it's about being successful. It's about feeling accomplished. It's about, you could be receiving recognition or some kind of award. You might be in the spotlight. You might be in a position to influence other people. People might be standing up and taking notice of you, recognizing your hard work and all that you've accomplished, right? Or it might just be on an internal level, like you are feeling good, like you feel like you've made a lot of progress, you've done a lot of work on yourself, you're seeing the benefits, you're recognizing yourself and celebrating your success. And I will say that is such a wonderful, positive card, and I really hope that you're willing to connect with that energy, because I think that's going to be really encouraging and motivating for you along your path. But the other thing with this is not resting on your laurels, like not allowing it to stop there, right? Because you're meant to keep going. You're meant to do more with that energy. And this is meant to be a time where you kind of like focus on and enjoy it, so that you can channel it into continued success and forward movement. It's not like, you're not meant to just like, wow, okay, I did it, great. Like, and just like maybe become comfortable in that instead of continuing, right? Because at the 6, you're not done yet, right? And you've got the 9 of Wands here too. Also, with all of this like Wands energy, we've got 6, 9, and Page. You might have a fire sign in your life, like maybe someone that you love or someone close to you, someone that you're partnering with is a fire sign. So that would be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. If not, and if that's something that's of no consequence to you, it could just be that you're being encouraged to connect with fire energy, which is all about passion and inspiration and creativity, you know, following your heart, taking action in the world, like letting your heart and your feelings and your inspiration guide the action that you're taking and the things that you're creating, and being willing to express yourself. So yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, celebration, good news. It could be attention, recognition. It could be that you have a platform to start sharing from, because people have taken notice, right? People have been drawn to you, and now they know what you want to hear, and you have the opportunity to kind of impact more people. That could be something. And your challenge is the Lovers and the 9 of Wands together. And so the Lovers, obviously that can signify a very deep, fated connection. That can be like significant other. It can be a soulmate, so it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a soulmate. Soulmates can be friends, family members, they can be co-workers. You know, there's any number of ways that a soulmate can show up in a relationship, but it can be a meaningful relationship. It can just be emphasizing partnerships or the ways that you work and connect with other people, like to come together and collaborate in a meaningful way. And with the Nine of Wands here, the Nine of Wands can be a really guarded energy. So I don't know if it is in a romantic sense. Maybe you've been through a lot. Maybe you've got some hurt that you need to heal. Maybe you've got your guard up. Maybe you are kind of resisting really truly being your authentic self and revealing all of the parts of yourself that are uniquely you for a fear that you won't be loved or accepted. So you could have a wall up. You could be feeling a little bit worried or defensive. That might be impacting your relationship. That might be something to keep in mind. And if it's not in a romantic sense, it could just be in terms of partnerships and your relations with other people. That maybe you do have a bit of a wall up. Maybe there is a bit of a mask that you're wearing to protect yourself because you've been hurt in the past, or because you've had a lot of experiences that maybe haven't turned out the way that you want them to, and so instead of really fully embracing your vulnerability and authenticity, you might be protecting yourself to avoid things going in that direction again, which would just be a fear. It's not necessarily how things are going to go. So it's being willing to acknowledge anything that you might have that's blocking you or holding you back, and the things that are making you feel kind of tired and worn out that might be impacting your ability to connect or collaborate or work with other people, maybe even accept and love other people. And it can be a very self-focused energy too. Like maybe you've been really focused on yourself and your own needs and your own growth. And you haven't really been, and because you've been kind of in a fortress of your own creation, maybe you haven't been as aware of the people around you or their needs or the way that your thoughts and actions are affecting them. That could be it as well. So it might just be needing to kind of like soften those edges and again really connect with your strength, connect with your charm and your charisma and your ability to influence people in a positive way when you just are your most honest, authentic, loving self. Because I don't see that there's anything negative around you. You know, I don't see that there's anyone coming for you. I don't see that there's anyone who has I don't get the vibe that anyone has ill will towards you. It's kind of just, you might just be in a self-protected energy, and that's okay. But yeah, I think it's really allowing yourself to make the most of your connections, however that makes sense to you. That might be a struggle for you this month. And also with the Six of Wands and this energy being side by side, along with this need to be authentic and not to have to create a certain image or act a certain way to feel like people will love you and accept you because you're afraid to let them see the real you. That's especially important if you are in the spotlight, if people are paying attention, if you do have a platform to speak from. It's making sure that the message that you're putting out there, the energy that you're putting out there is like real and true and heart-centered, and it is connected to love and something that's something that's going to be healing or helpful. I don't know how that might apply to your situation, but it's like, you know, not allowing that fear to cause you to put up a facade or to try and encourage or influence people in a way that is not going to be positive. But your recommended action is just to like really connect with your passion and creativity, connect with that light inside of you, connect with all of the things that you have, like in terms of your skills, in terms of the things that are attractive about you, the things that people appreciate in you, and really, just expressing that without fear and without worrying what that's going to look like to other people, or if you're going to be judged or if you're going to be accepted. I don't see that people loving you and accepting you is a problem. I think it's probably just your ability to accept yourself that makes you afraid that others won't, like with love, of course, I'm saying this. I don't think it's indicative of your reality or the people surrounding you. I think people want to give you love, and it's probably just your own resistance to the idea of truly being vulnerable and authentic and trusting that that is enough. And it is, and it will get you really far. So to embrace that energy, and like the overall energy and outcome for this month is 10 of Cups, which I said, it is wish fulfillment. It is happily ever after. Whatever it is that you want, whatever has been in your mind, whatever you've been trying to create, especially that thing that's meaningful and inspired and has the opportunity to be fulfilling on a really deep level, whether that's a relationship, whether it's starting a family, whether it is, you know, connecting with a career that's more aligned to you, whether it's bringing more of yourself and your authenticity and your personality into your career, whatever that is, you know, this month is a really, really great month, not only to align with that energy and to start taking action on it, but you might actually see it start to kind of really impact your reality, right? So I'm not saying like it's guaranteed that this month, like, you're going to reach the end goal and everything's going to be tied up neatly with a bow. But it's like, it's really supported, right? That like there is going to be success, there is going to be happiness, and, you know, and you might start, if it's not like something that's already on the go that would be able to come to completion, you might be really surprised the amount of progress you can make, and just how stepping into your own magnetism and leading with that from a heart-centered space is really, really going to impact your world and like achieving these goals. And even if it isn't achieving the goal or getting that exact outcome that you're looking for, it's like aligning with the energy and the happiness that you're looking to get from whatever that is. So experiencing it now and integrating that into your life now is a big part of being able to bring it into your reality and connect with it in a tangible way. So clarification for 6 of Wands is Mother of Swords. So now which is Queen of Swords. So we'll get clarification now for the Lovers. Oh, okay. Okay, your clarification for the Lovers is Temperance. And clarification for 9 of Wands is Daughter of Pentacles, which is Page of Pentacles. Okay, so let's clarify the Page of Wands. Okay, Page of Wands, we've got the Hermit. You've got a lot of major arcana here. So with the Lovers, Temperance, the Hermit, the Empress at the bottom of the deck there. So what you're going through might be something that you've been aware of or working on for a long time. It's a major theme in your life. Like it's connected. This all is connected to like major life lessons. Oh my gosh. And as I say that, under the 10 of Cups, you've got the Star, another major arcana. Okay. In the bottom of the deck, you have 7 of Pentacles. Interesting. Yeah. So as I was saying, there's a lot of major arcana. So if things are feeling like, you know, pretty intense, or there's a lot of energy, or it's like it's been something that's really been kind of like weighing on you and bleeding into every area of your life, and you haven't been able to like avoid it or like fix it or like resolve it really quickly, that's because you're working with a lot of big energies. And these big energies, as I said, are tied to life lessons. They're tied to your personal path, your destiny, the things that you're meant to learn and experience. And this is all for your personal growth. This is all for your highest good, whether you're consciously aware of that or not. These are all serving you and your development, so that you can really connect with these positive energies regardless of what you're going through, whether it's challenging or not, because you know there is dark associated with light, you know, and in the human experience, like we experience loss and challenge and grief and struggle and all of those things, and that's just a natural part of life. And it's about not taking them personally, not making a home in those feelings or experiences. And, you know, with the Star here, it's still being able to connect with hope. And for that to come out under the 10 of Cups, it's like wish fulfillment, your happily ever after, whatever it is that you really, really want, kind of like either coming to fruition or, you know, starting to materialize, and you're starting to be able to connect with that energy. And like, yeah, it's like a renewed sense of hope, an opportunity for healing and further connection to yourself, and trusting that you have the inner strength to handle whatever comes your way. You don't have to take the wounds that came as a result of whatever has happened to you in the past forward with you, right? You can learn, you can grow, you can struggle. That might be part of it. But ultimately you'll come out better for it. And if you're willing to accept the lesson and do the work to heal and let go of the parts that are not serving you, then it'll allow you to connect with hope even when you're struggling, and to keep in mind that, you know, the sun is always going to shine again. Difficult times don't last forever, and sometimes they last longer than necessary because we're resistant to them, to the experiences and to the things that we're meant to learn. And so I really see it's like, this is such a great opportunity for you to connect with something really beautiful and lovely. Yeah, whether it's family, babies, like I said, I feel that for a lot of you is like a big thing, maybe, or whether it's just like, yeah, your version of happily ever after, whatever that looks like. Maybe you're somebody who just wants to be single and happy doing your own thing, and that's most fulfilling to you. Maybe it's just, you know, the end goal is just to focus on, you know, career and home, and just having you and your partner in a solid space like that. Really, whatever you feel in your heart is your happily ever after. That's what it's going to look like for you. And it doesn't have to conform to the societal norms or what's expected of us or anything like that. So yeah, Six of Wands with success and victory is amplified by standing in your truth, knowing what's true, knowing what's right, being fair and honest about the way that you speak and communicate with others, especially if you're in a position where people are acknowledging you, people have you in the spotlight, and you have a platform or you have influence. Yeah, and it's not being overly logical either. It's balancing logic with your emotion and your intuition, and knowing that you're able to balance all that out to make a fair decision that's right for you and other people. But it also emphasizes like really clear, true, honest communication, making sure that you're being honest and upfront with the people around you, and you're not asking people to sacrifice their best interests for the sake of yours. That's another thing that just kind of came to me. With Temperance here and the Lovers, Temperance is all about balance, right? It's being able to balance like our dark and our light. You know, the fire is being tempered by water, and it can, if it's combined just perfectly, then it'll create a rainbow, basically, right? So it's like your greatest opportunity for harmony, and like overall happiness is to keep those sides of you in balance. So it's like with fire and water, that could be like your ambition, your creativity, your passion, which also can lead to like aggression and anger too. Those are like the darker side of that energy. And then with that being tempered by water, water is our emotions, our intuition, our subconscious, you know, the things that make us long for deep, meaningful connection. And sometimes we feel like we don't long for deep, meaningful connection because it scares us. That's just part of our healing work. It's not necessarily like true to who we are or what we value. But like the difficult side of water is like maybe being overly emotional, too sensitive, like, you know, emotionally out of balance. That can lend to depression, right? It can lend to like feelings being really hurt. Like it's kind of like a complicated energy, right? But it's basically saying like, there is absolute value in every single thing. So in logic, in emotion, in passion, in creativity, in like practicality and material things, like those are all important. We are meant to make use of all of those strengths and all of those kind of outlets. And the most important thing is just keeping them in balance and trying to find a middle ground through it. So if that applies specifically to your relationships, whether romantically or just like the people that you're interacting with. And it's kind of like the way that love is showing up in your life. It's like you might need a little bit more of a balance. You could need more of a balance between like work and your relationship, or like your own individual path and individual areas of focus, and that of your partner, maybe making more room for your partner in your life. Or really just like, it could be the support thing, the unconditional love and support, really like accepting the love and support of the people closest to you, and helping that balance you out, especially if you're taking on too much yourself and it's disconnecting you from your highest good. The Daughter of Pentacles under the Nine of Wands is basically saying like, yeah, you might be a little too focused on staying grounded, or, you know, getting your stability, getting your money right, getting your career right, having the house, having the material goods. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's part of life, and it's just a matter of keeping it in balance. So maybe you've been too focused on that, and that's kind of why you have your guard up and you don't necessarily want to let somebody in, or you have fears about letting people in. Maybe there's a fear of like loss of your stability and the things that you've worked hard for, or you've gotten yourself to a point where you are starting to feel stable, and you are kind of sorting out the material side of life and getting to a level of stability where you can start kind of recognizing the areas where you're holding yourself back, or you're not necessarily like showing up as yourself fully. With the Hermit here under the Page of Wands, again, Page of Wands is like, that's the energy that you want to be stepping into to kind of like move through the things that are challenging this month. And, you know, really leaning into creative expression and feeling confident, shining your light, not being afraid of how you're going to be received or what people are going to think about the things that are most important to you that you're sharing. It's, you know, being willing to spread your light and accept that you're in a position where you have opportunity to connect with things that are meaningful and to draw people in. With the Hermit being here, it kind of indicates to me that like this is not necessarily all going to be action in the outside world. Maybe you are very action oriented, maybe you're very practical, and your comfort zone is like kind of planning and organizing and taking steps toward success in a very practical way. And the Hermit may be saying like, this could be a month for you to do a little bit more introspection. Maybe you already like to get into that energy. Maybe it's an energy that you've been wanting to get into, is like take a little bit more time for introspection and, you know, shutting off from the world and the energies around you and really just focusing on what's going on like inside of you. It doesn't have to be emotional. It could just be like, you know, what you're passionate about, what inspires you, and giving yourself the time to focus on and connect with that so that you can cultivate that excitement and passion to be willing to express it outwardly and recognize like, what is it that's there that wants to be accepted, that wants to be given the green light, right? And yeah, as I said, at the end of the day, it looks like it can be a very, very positive month emotionally, for connection, for harmony, for your wishes coming true or moving in the direction of like materializing those wishes and dreams, and having like a renewed sense of hope for, you know, just how great your future can be and just what is coming in. Like it really is such a beautiful, wonderful, expansive energy that I'm feeling from this like kind of overall month theme and like the things that you're able to connect with if you choose to. So I'm going to get to a couple of affirmations to finish off with. And yeah, I really like this energy. I hope that this is like feeling positive for you guys, because I really do see a lot of good things, and it really just is about you being willing to like step into your light, you know, don't dim your shine. Don't feel like you have to. Don't be afraid of shining authentically. When I feel blocked emotionally, distressed, or overwhelmed, I turn to my breath. All right, so this might be part of also hermit mode, connecting to yourself, being more aware of what you're feeling and experiencing. Oh, the rest of your affirmations all jumped out at once, so that's perfect. So yeah, taking time to connect with your breath. Meditation, breath work might be something that helps you if you're dealing with stress and anxiety or just a lot of emotions, just to reconnect with yourself. When in doubt, I choose to see peace. Right? So especially because connections are emphasized, and it is emphasized that you might be able to connect with or receive support from people. So if you're feeling kind of unsure about something, whether it's a specific person or action or situation, choose to see the peace, choose to see the good, like try to connect with it from a place of unconditional love, and know that you'll be able to navigate whatever kind of comes up, but just remaining open to it. And seeing peace in the situation is going to help you remain open to whatever it has to offer. Releasing anger from the past sets me free in the present. Yeah, so I think that's important. So that's kind of the vibe that I get from this Nine of Wands, is like anything that might have you feeling closed off or have your guard up or make you maybe a little bit like skeptical or unwilling to really let the walls down, that could be rooted in anger. And that anger could be toward yourself for decisions that you made that you felt weren't aligned. It could be a family member for something they said or done, or maybe even something that, they've kind of ingrained in you that has been damaging for you. It could be actually a relationship, something that someone said or did to hurt you. Whatever that is, anything that is connected to anger or like tension that you're holding in yourself, it's really important to recognize that, work through those emotions. So the anger is really just like hurt or sadness that hasn't been dealt with, and it kind of just compresses and it gets worse the longer that it's unrecognized. So just kind of be mindful this month, anything that's happened in the past that has really hurt you or that makes you feel angry, the ways that that's coming up in your present situation, and the things that inspire anger in you, those are things that are looking to be healed. So that's going to be a really good marker for you this month on things that you can focus on, that might be getting in your way from really like stepping into this energy consciously and confidently for yourself, connecting with people, and really allowing your creative thing, whatever you're trying to create, to shine. You don't want to be standing in your own way, because I see, there's a lot of opportunity here for you. The moment I begin to celebrate myself and focus on my successes is the moment I begin living. I love that. And that actually goes hand in hand with the Six of Wands, like this success, this recognition, feeling confident and being able to. So it's like once you start expressing yourself confidently and authentically, and you see there's nothing to be afraid of, and you see that you don't have to to show up in a certain way in order to be accepted. You don't have to put on a show. You don't have to try and influence or manipulate people. Once you start realizing that people are going to celebrate you and be further drawn to you and not going to reject you because you're stepping into your authenticity, the easier it becomes to continue doing that and to recognize that that's a valuable, worthy part of you. And so celebrating yourself is a big part of that, and continuing to connect with that energy. And take a moment to see all that you are, all that you've accomplished, and make sure that you're appreciating that, especially if you've been really focused on work or, maybe you've been feeling like things aren't moving forward, or you've got any kind of doubt. So it's like, so that you're not just going through the motions and trying to make things happen and trying to create this life that's going to be happy, but you can enjoy it and live in the moment now. And maybe the key to connecting more with your life and really getting more out of it is actually recognizing the things that are successful, the things that are good about you, the work that you've done to get here, and really giving yourself a pat on the back so that you can be encouraged to continue creating whatever this is for you. But yeah, anyways, that's amazing. I really love this reading. Such a good note to end on. And Pisces, I really hope that this was helpful to you. I hope this resonated. I hope this is going to help you make the most of February. If you enjoyed this reading, please feel free to like and to share with anyone that you feel might be interested in these February readings. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know how this resonated, or any kind of thoughts or feelings that you have about this reading. Also, if you enjoyed the reading, you can head over to my channel at Bright Soul Collective Tarot, take a look at my other videos, and subscribe to my channel so that you can have access to videos as they're posted and to be notified. That'll keep you in the loop. So yeah, Pisces, what a great reading. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to read for you again in the future. And in the meantime, I'm wishing you all the very best.